Hello? Hello, Mur? Is that how you say that? Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Hello. Um, Today we're going to be just doing some doodles, doing some art stuff from specifically from the chapters that we read yesterday. Uh, yeah. Anyway, I am drinking some oolong tea right now. It's very good. Um, it's like this iron oolong. It's funky. You can steep it like 3 times. It's really good. I like it. How are you doing? How are you guys doing? How's your day going so far? I'm glad it's going well. Um, I don't have any channel emotes yet because you know I'm not a Twitch partner yet, but we will in the future. You know. Anyway, to start things off today, the most important thing to do before you start drawing is doing your stretches. So, if you guys want to draw with me, the way that I do my stretches is by starting by placing like 4 of the fingers on my left hand over 4 of the fingers on my right hand, and then kind of turning it. This is really hard to do without visuals, but you're basically going to pull your fingers back in order to stretch out your wrist. And that's a very important part of drawing. You got to stretch out before you actually get to work. And then of course, there's our warm-ups. But I'll go ahead and switch over to oh wait, you know what? I'm going to turn on some background music. How's that sound? Is that too loud? Okay. And then I'm going to switch
Yes, hello.
to here. Why is that playing? Uh, there we go. We're doing great. This is fine. That's too low. I think that's okay. For our warm up today, I figured we'd go ahead and start with maybe some fan art. I haven't done any fan art of this one VTuber that I like to watch. Their name is Sylvie, and they're like a sea witch, and they've got this really cool like aesthetic going on. Um, but I figured it'd be fun to like start out, with just some like warm up sketches and stuff. So this is the reference image that I'm going to be using. This is kind of what they look like. Um, so yeah, we can go ahead and start out with maybe just some light little doodles. The notes on here that you guys see are for later when we actually get to drawing for Howl's Moving Castle. But yeah, I watch some of her streams while I'm drawing, which is kind of what I'm used to doing while drawing. being the one who's talking while drawing is going to be interesting. I'm great at the whole talking thing, I swear. um so I'm just going to start out with let's see. I don't really have a pose in mind for what we could do. So we're just gonna start out with like some light sketches. But she's got kind of like, she's got like this, kind of like, you know, like when the anime girls who are just like, ho, ho, ho. Or however they say it, you know? I can't do that laugh. But, you know, she's kind of got like that energy to her, like a little bit. So I think we'll start off with something like that. Maybe we'll just start off with something like really simple to get things set up. And then I'm gonna try to actually change my camera angle so that it doesn't look too weird when I'm drawing like this. Hopefully that's okay. Maybe. Give me a second. There we go. I've been a little absent on Twitter lately because I've been busy moving, which I totally forgot to announce. Which, I mean, I guess you don't really have to like mention every time that you're not going to be, you know, more active on Twitter, but still. Let's see. Where'd my reference image go? Here it is. The moving process has been a bit of a pain, but, you know, I feel like that kind of comes with the moving process territory. I was up a little bit too late last night, working on the craft room. I've been painting it, and then I made this little tree shelf to kind of like go into, you know, just go with the aesthetic. It's like an hear me out. It's a cool room, I swear. It just may or may not be an Undertale themed craft room. So it's like the tree that's up in the ruins with all the leaves in the ground. I made that tree into like a shelf. And at the base of it, there's this little bed that I've made. There's like a hole at the base, and I turned all the fallen leaves into like a quilt for my cats. And then I was up a little bit too late last night making that. So I'm a little bit sleepier today. Okay, for expression, I'm thinking something a little bit kind of like. Kind of like that, maybe? You know? I could just give me. I could just do something. Nah. Okay. She does have a really cute model. I really do like this design. I don't want to spend too much more time on it because I know if I do, you know, I'll just get too into it and then I'll just do all the line work and then I'll do all the coloring and then I'll be like, oh, I'll just add some shading, you know? And then it's just like, oh, I'll just color in the line work. And it'll just like spiral from there. So I'm gonna keep it to kind of like just real sketchy. And I think that's okay for a warm up, you know? That's a fun thing about warm ups. They don't really have to look great or anything, you know? I don't know if I'll post any of my warm ups, you know? Since they are just warm ups, they're not always the best looking. Maybe I will, who knows? Especially since I'm not really worrying about like cleaning this up too much. You know, when you're doing warm ups, you mostly just want to work on getting those joints all like loosey goosey. I'm turning that down way far. Tiny nose. Boop. You should have seen her Halloween design though. It was really cool. It had like this little like jester motif to it. It was very interesting. I hadn't really seen a design like that before. Oh, I'm doing all of my line work on one layer. Of course I am. I forgot to set another layer for this. God. Is it okay if I just call you Lolville? Lolville? I don't know if I can pronounce the mer correctly. The other tricky thing about, well, I mean, I guess I haven't really mentioned anything tricky just yet. Um, oh wait, I did put this on a new layer, part of it anyway. Some, oh, there we go. Okay. um, no, but what I was saying is that like drawing girls can be tricky because I'm not good with the boobs. It's just hard, you know? I don't really know where they go. I mean, I know where they go, but it's just like I don't know how to make them not look weird. I really need to practice that more often. Like, okay, so the pecs are here, right? So you just gotta make them. You just gotta make them bigger, I guess. That's probably fine. The sketch is certainly turning out. But that's okay. This is a warm up, you know? It doesn't have to look fantastic. Okay. It's also because I've been so busy with like the move and then making, you know, all of like all the stuff for Lorm's model or the model that I'm using right now. I haven't really gotten much of a chance to like get back into drawing. I think streaming is like a good way to, I don't know, kind of force myself to get back into it. Hopefully, anyway. I also just brought home. So, if you guys were here for yesterday's stream, you probably heard at least one of my two cats. We just brought home Solomon, who is he is this black and white like tux cat, like tuxedo cat. Um, he's got like this really cool like marbled coat. He's very sweet. He's pretty old. I mean, not like too old. He's kind of like, you know, a middle-aged man in cat years, so that's not very old at all. Um, and he's been here for about like 2 weeks or so. And him and my other cat are finally starting to get along a bit. You know, of course we did like that whole like introduction thing that you do with cats. You know, they were like separated by the door first, you know, fed them by the door, or you know, fed them like, you know, Hal was like on one side of the door and then Solomon was on the other side. And they were doing fine over there. So, you know, eventually we moved up to feeding them while they could see each other, you know, with like a barrier so they couldn't physically like interact but could still like see each other while eating, you know, get those good associations going. Um, but for the past week or so, they've actually been like no barrier, just you know, hanging out with each other. Um, and they've finally gotten to the point where they can lay on the same bed together, actually pretty close. At least, like, you know, they've gotten used to each other enough now that they can do that. And it's very nice. They're very cute. I'm proud of them. Where is this layer? Oh, that's the hair. Oh, well. Okay. That's a little too dark. That's about right, I think. I'm just gonna give it some base color real quick. And then we'll move on to actually working on character design and stuff. She's got like this really pretty like purple and green kind of palette. You know, I feel like they complement each other pretty well. But I feel like you don't see a lot of, I don't know, at least I don't see a lot of VTubers that have green hair. So it's kind of nice. Spice things up a bit. One thing that I do when it comes to coloring is I don't ever really, I don't ever use white or black. It's always some kind of like off-white or off-black. Mostly because those colors don't really exist in real life, you know? Um, like most things are just kind of more of an off-black or off-white. So like for eyes, I'll do like a kind of like a pinkish white. For teeth, I'll do kind of like an ivory, like a yellowy white, you know? And then for black, like this here, so you can see it's just more of like, or just a really, really dark brown. My roommate, who also does art, does I don't like that color. He does like a dark blue or purple. No, I think he usually does like a dark blue. Instead, but I kind of like how warm the the brown tends to feel. Okay. The rest of her outfit kind of has like this lime green color to it. Again, I'm just doing this pretty quick because this, I mean, you're not supposed to spend too much time on a... Oh, hey! Cup Pod! Hello, hello, welcome! Sorry, I just saw your message. Hello! Welcome! I'm so glad to see you. How are you doing? Yeah, it's art time, baby. um, I'm just finishing up with the warm up sketch, and then we're about to move on to some character design. But yeah, I think we're gonna call that for our little warm up. I'm gonna put that into I only wanted one folder, thank you. No, I just want to name the folder, please. Thank you. Warm up. Boop. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and set our background to a neutral kind of gray. There we go. All right, so for... Aw, dude, don't worry. The VOD is up. It's okay. Thank you for popping in, though. I really appreciate it. Aw. No, that was just a warm-up. That one didn't take very long. We're going into actual, like, art stuff now. Aw, thank you for popping in, though. Have fun on your walk. It's actually already dark where I am. It's only 4 p.m. Actually, no, it's like 4:30 now. Oh. Um, but yesterday, we read the first two chapters of Howl's Moving Castle. And we got a bit of a description for Sophie, but Sophie's kind of really the only character we really got to know. We got to know a bit of Letty and Martha, who are Sophie's sisters, and a bit of Fanny, who is Sophie's stepmom. But it was mostly just Sophie that we saw. And in that first chapter, she was kind of established as this very, very, like, mousy character. Aw, thank you. I don't know how long we'll be streaming, but enjoy your walk. Thank you. Bye. Um, but yeah, she was described. She's 18 years old. You know, she's described as this very mousy character, um, very kind of like meek. Until she gets kind of upset, and then she can be real snarky, which I love, and I love that about her. So when it comes to different like mousy kind of, or meek, softer characters, you usually want to go with more round designs. So for Sophie's first design, we're probably going to go with something, a bit more round and frail looking. So we'll start out with just like a pose. I'm gonna have her shoulders be up, kind of like tense a little bit. Her hands like close. Those are hands, I swear. Oh, hi, Howl. She's kind of curved in a little bit. Kind of like shrunken back. Oh, why is my... There we go. Nope, that's really small. We'll put her hands down here. We'll have her kind of like looking down in order to avoid like eye contact and stuff like that. We didn't get much physical description other than that she has like this straw red hair. So I'm gonna go with like a strawberry kind of blonde. Actually, give me 1 second. Sorry, my mouth looks weird because I just put my pen in my mouth because that's how I hold it when I'm looking things up. Not me looking up references for strawberry blonde color. Is it just kind of like this light, like red? Kind of like that. Maybe here. I do want it, this is gonna look good, but that's gonna be on purpose. Because we're gonna be using okay, so besides her hair, the only other thing that was given a color description was her dress, and the dress she was wearing is gray. I am going to make it kind of a warmer gray. So it's still kind of like, it looks okay against this reddish color, but it's still kind of like, we want it to wash it out a bit because that's kind of what the purpose of the gray dress is. It's meant to hide the rest of her. At this point in the story, she's very much used to hiding and not really leaving her room at all. And I know when I was like, whenever I get in that state where I've spent way too much time in my room, and then you just kind of get used to it, and then it just kind of feels weird to be out of your room, and it's kind of intimidating and scary because everything around you is just like loud and noisy, and it's not your familiar, comfortable little space. Like when I get real bad, I will use clothes to kind of hide myself, which I think is kind of what Sophie is doing here. Um, you know, she's hiding herself in like that gray color. Let's see. It did also kind of describe her as mousy, so I'm gonna give her kind of like not too big, but you know, nice round eyes. Kind of around her face. Kind of like this. Since she kind of has like straw red hair, I'm gonna make it curly. Um, because I'm biased. I want to draw more characters with curly hair. Let's see. The book itself was written in the 1980s. And I think I'm going to use that to justify the curly hair. Because what's interesting is, like, if you go back and watch, like, movies that are, like, about different time periods and when they're filmed, like, they'll still take on the current, like, aesthetics of when they're filmed. Which, in this case, since the book was published in the 80s, curly hair counts. So, therefore, it's not just my bias towards curly hair. But the Ghibli film made it set kind of in the, like, had it set in the early 19th century, you know, vaguely. Like, Ingiri is, like, its own, you know, place. But it took different, like, aesthetics from, the 19th, early 19th century, like, late 18th century kind of era. So for her kind of, like, hair design and, and the dress that we're going to be drawing for her, that's kind of what we're going off of. I'm just going to do a quick look up hairstyles. Because we could do like a cute kind of braid. Maybe. Like with the few hints that we get of time periods and stuff, one of them is hair. Because they talk about, who is it? I have the book with me. Hold on. Farrier, and like the other women in the shop were like gossiping about how she ties her hair up weird or whatever. So that's obviously, you know, like an important, like tying up your hair is an important part. And I feel like the way you did your hair was probably much more important back in the early 19th century. Whoops. I think I might do like a half up. Not half up, but like up. Oh, you know what? You know what we could do? We can look up Jane Austen hairstyles. That's okay. So I think I've got an idea for what we want to do with Sophie's hair. We'll kind of do like maybe a bit of a middle part here with some shorter like curly bangs. I don't imagine that at this point she'd be the kind of person to actually put anything up in her hair or wear any kind of like fancy hat, because one of the points that she does make is that she's tried on all of the hats and she doesn't really like how any of them look on her. So I think she would just have it be up, kind of like in a bun. Kind of hanging down maybe a little bit, kind of like this. Okay, and then as for dress, it's definitely going to be something a bit simpler, not very extravagant, very, very simple. Right now I'm just looking up some other images for reference. Okay. So a lot of like the early like 1800s dress styles tend to have like a much higher oh gosh, what's that called? The waistline thing? I don't remember what it's called. Um, but it's where like this it's like the split between like the shirt part and the you know, like here's like the collar, and then you have like the bust, and then there's like it just like immediately goes into the skirt. I just don't remember what it's called. Yeah, that's fine. But they tend to go kind of low here, have like the poofier sleeves, um, and then kind of like a bit of a narrower outline. I think for Sophie, I'm gonna go ahead and give her like longer sleeves. I think she'll still have a bit of like the poof up here, but because of the state that she's kind of in at this time, I think she'd probably just want to cover up like as much as possible. So we have the longer sleeves with just a bit of poof. I'm trying to figure out a way to fit in. Yeah, because I think we can just have it come up here. Have like a collar. Okay, this sketch doesn't look right now, but I swear when we clean it up, it'll look fine. And then it just kind of comes down, you know. And I don't, like, when I'm drawing this on Sophie, I'm going to round out a lot of these edges. This will give her more of a soft, again, kind of like friendlier appearance. Actually, you know what? No, I changed my mind. I think what we should do is make them more angular. This way it kind of hints at the kind of like fiery personality that she's hiding a bit underneath, you know, everything else. Give me 1 second. Where... I don't think I have. I've been meaning to get my hands on like a good fashion history book. That way I just like have these references on hand and I don't have to like go digging around for them on the internet. But you know what? Since this is like a fantasy setting, this doesn't have to be 100% historically accurate. You know, I'm just gonna give her this a bit of a high collar here. Maybe some buttons. Okay, and now we can get on to kind of doodling Sophie. I'm gonna make my brush a bit smaller so we can get the lines to be a bit finer. I'm gonna adjust my mic again. There we go. So we have her kind of looking down and away. I'm gonna give her not like thin eyebrows, but not really like bushy ones either. Because I don't believe that. I mean, we're not really going for historically accurate here, but, you know, I don't think thin eyebrows were really a trend until like later. Don't quote me on that. I don't know my fashion history. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm also going to draw some of her hair kind of coming down into her face a little bit so she can kind of like hide underneath it. And then we gave her like a small little bun in the back. Actually, I'm gonna I don't think you'd actually be able to see that much of it. Okay. Okay, so that's her bang line there. We have the back of her head. We won't be able to see much of the bun, but we'll be able to see like a little bit of it. So I'm gonna make it a bit smaller. Okay, we have when you're drawing, you don't have to do this whole like all of these like body line steps that I'm doing. But they help me kind of like visualize where all of just the parts of the human body go. Most often, I will just kind of like have a photo, or I'll bring in like, yeah, actually, you know what? Why don't I just do that? Probably because I'm not sure if I'll be able to get the right pose that I want. See, usually what I do is I hold my roommate hostage for a little bit and I make him do the pose that I need. So shout out to my roommate there. But I'm in the middle of a stream and I don't want to bother him right now. Where is... One of the cool things about Clip Paint Studio is that it'll let you drag in like this 3D model that you can use. I don't follow them like completely, but you can use them to get a good idea of where certain things go. It'll help out. Like, one thing I noticed with a lot of artists is they tend to make the arms really long when they're bending upwards. Okay, see, that's the other hard part about this. Oh, no, wrong one. See, if the arm is up like this, then they'll draw the elbow like super far down, like around here, or like around here, you know? Or they'll like extend this part. But it's like, you know, the wrist comes up to about here, the hand doesn't go out much farther. But, you know, this is just like, it's a tool that I use anyway, just to help me figure out exactly how long things like this should be. It's a good way to, like, it's a good reminder anyway. I'm rambling. That's what streamers do, they ramble. What? Anyway, let's see, for Sophie, we want her hands kind of like one out here like this. I'm not too worried about the legs right now. I'm going to bend the hand like this a little bit. It's going to come in like that. Shoulder's going to come up a bit. Nope. And we do want these arms kind of close to the body. And kind of like just protecting it, I guess. And right now she's standing up a bit too straight. We gotta have her hunch over just a bit. And we're spreading the feet out just a little bit because this hunched over position is kind of, you need your feet out just a little bit more for like balance purposes. And then just gonna check how this looks from the front real quick. Nope. And that's kind of the pose that we're going for. So from here, I would just kind of take notes. Like shoulder goes here, that goes there, the elbow is down here-ish. We have that there. And we have the hands. I'm not going to draw her this skinny. But I am going to exaggerate some of these kind of like features here. You know, make it look just a bit bulkier, a bit more angular. Yeah, so this is what I mean when I said a lot of artists will draw their elbows down way too low, like what I was doing. You know, case in point, me. This is why we use a reference. Okay, I'm just gonna move this over here. That looks about right. So we don't really need that layer anymore. Oopsies. And then you're not going to be able to see the rest of this arm, but I like to draw it here anyway. Again, just so I know where it's going to kind of like lay. then I'm just going to make this part a bit bigger. I'll figure out the boob situation later. we'll, we'll pass that bridge when we get there. We're not going to worry about that for now. I also just remember that we're going to have to think about shoes. Which is fine. We'll just give her, like, you know, regular old pair of boots. I'm going to make her neck a bit wider, like that. I think that should be okay. This looks weird, and I don't know why. I was up way too late last night. Hips kind of come up here, so the tummy is kind of like in this area. I need to do more figure drawing of girls. I think for one of these streams, I'm just gonna do like a day where we just sit down and we draw hands and like nothing else. That's it. That's the entire stream. We just sit there and draw hands. They're complicated little things. Okay, I think that's the sketch we're gonna go ahead and go with. Now we can kind of start drawing the dress over it. I'll give it like a little bit of a ruffle at the top. And it does have kind of like those angular shoulder pads. Or arm poofs. Arm poofs? And then we're going to see some of the fabric kind of wrinkle here especially. I think what I'm going to do is have it be in like, split the dress here a little bit. Especially since she's kind of like bent over in a bit of a weird way. The fabric is going to kind of bunch in the middle there just a bit. And then those pointed toe shoes were pretty, I believe, pretty common for like, you know, like Edwardian, but I think we already established that we're not exactly going for historically accurate. This is a fantasy world. I can give her whatever clothes I want. I'm giving her boots. I can do boots better than this. Probably just like lace up boots like this. maybe like a bit of a heal, but not much. Oh boy. It's kind of rough. It's fine. Oh, give me a second to readjust. Oof. Okay, I might take a little break here in a second, just so I can get up and refill my tea. But I want to finish. Wait, I can put that away. Boop. I don't know why I still had that open. Drawing this ankle is hard. Okay. Okay, her eye line is there. Her cheek is going to kind of come out and then come back in. Hairline is up here. Okay. Ignoring the hands for now. I do want to give this maybe a bit more movement. We can expand that just a bit. while I'm taking my break, I think I am going to go bother my roommate into letting me take a picture of his hand kind of clasped like this. That's a mess. That's a hot mess right there. uh, okay, but that's our Sophie so far. Okay, we are at the hour and a half mark. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a little break. I'll be back in about, like, I'm gonna say 5 or so minutes. Yeah, maybe 5-10 minutes. Yeah. As soon as I figure out where the thing went. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. I'll be back in a bit. on. Hello? There we go. Okay. I'm back. I got some tea. Well, I just refilled my cup. And I also grabbed a snack. Um, Apparently my roommate is not here, so so I'm just gonna bring out this bad boy again. And we're gonna try to put the hands together. Oh, where'd my little thing go? Oh no. Okay. That's fine. Don't worry about it. You didn't see what I just did. Don't. It's fine. Okay. Oh, wait. I forgot to turn the music back on. Whoopsies. Where'd it go? Here it is. Okay, so then if we just kind of try to adjust them so that there, and then we can kind of try to do the same thing on the other side. Oh. Ah. Okay, so this isn't like a perfect solution, but here we've kind of got the hands kind of clasping around each other. So now hopefully yeah, that's about what we want. We're gonna have to take some liberties with this. So I'm not gonna trace, I'm not just gonna like trace this exactly. But I'm kind of gonna add some of my own like curves. Like one thing I really like when I'm looking at other people's artwork is just how kind of like bony they tend to make hands, I guess. So I kind of try to do that too. Blah. See, this is the part where things get kind of tricky because obviously this isn't, correct. How do I want to do this? Okay. Maybe like that. Okay, not bad. Better than whatever the frick I had going on before. Okay. There we go. I think I'm gonna move her nose a bit down, like down a little bit more, just to kind of help give... Oh, dip, dip, dip. This way it looks more like she's looking down. There we go. Hi, owl. Boop, boop, boop. Ah, tea's still hot. Okay, and now we can move on to the line work. Make her eyes a bit smaller. I'm not giving her too much eyelash. She doesn't really strike me as the person who would have these like big bold eyelashes, especially with, you know, her hair color. But I'm gonna give her a little bit, you know? That eyebrow definitely isn't angled correctly. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. I think I'm just gonna redraw it. Moving her ears up just to kind of like, you know, it's supposed to kind of curve this way. Definitely forgot to do that on my doodle. Something about the chin just doesn't feel correct. That'll have to do for now. I can always come back later and mess around with it. This kind of little trick that you see me doing with the hair here, um, that's something I learned from Mayoko. It's something that she does, or they, I don't know what pronouns they use, that they use with their art a lot, is they'll have like these big shapes and then they'll just draw like these two lines at the end to kind of indicate that there's a lot more like there's like a lot of like smaller items going on, like this little guy right there tends to be used quite a bit to show, you know, that it's hair. It's also kind of just what you do when you're drawing like when you're going for like realism as well. When it comes to hair, you'll kind of just like draw a blob, kind of like this, and then you'll just add like a wisp or two, and then suddenly it's hairy, you know. The only reason I'm like erasing the eyebrows from here is just because the lines are already so thick that like it just kind of makes it look messy. Normally I wouldn't, um, but this time I am. And then I like to go back in and add these little marks. To kind of help give it some like extra texture, you know? And then as we go, I'm gonna kind of like build up some of the lines. Especially like the kind of like the border around it. This will help it kind of stand out from anything going on in the background. And in this case, there won't really be anything because we're just working on her like concept. But here I am doing it anyway. Because that's just how I kind of line stuff, I guess. It also helps give like, it gives like a fun kind of texture to it, you know? Like not everything is too uniform. It makes it feel much more organic, I think. And then since I don't think I'll be going back through and really shading in or coloring most of these lines, I'm gonna go ahead and add some like hatching in. Hi, I just looked over and my cat currently is licking a bag. Couldn't tell you why. He's just over there licking a bag. Howl, you're so weird. I have weird cats. God. I think one of my favorite theories about like the book versus the movie in terms of House Moving Castle is that the book is from Sophie's point of view, and the movie is from Howl's point of view, and this pretty much accounts for like either the differences in like recollection of the story, I guess. Um, and also some of the differences in the personalities, like Hal in the movie, much more sweeter, a lot more suave. Um, in the book, oh god, I can't wait for you guys to meet him in the book. He's he's oh my god, I love him. Um, but you know, Diana Wayne Jones herself, she's the author. Um, I think she got asked in like a panel, uh, or like she got told by like a younger girl that she wanted to marry Howell, and Diana's response was why. And I love that little fact. That's just it's just so funny to me. Um, you know, movie Howl, it's understandable, because movie Howl, he's very cool. You know, in the book, he's a bit of a baby. Like, he's definitely a coward. Um, he is a total baby. I don't want to spoil anything. You guys will see what I mean when we meet him. Oh yeah, Michael. In the movie, he's called Markle. You'll see this in the book too. His name is Michael. You know, at first I wasn't really sure how I'd feel about this music choice, but I'm kind of enjoy. I'm enjoying this quite a bit. It's a it's a Dark Academia playlist on YouTube that I found. I hope I won't get copyright struck for this. That would suck. Um, but I think it's mostly just it's kind of why I went with something like this. I was hoping that it would mostly just be kind of like classical. Cuz I'm pretty sure that should be all public domain. Should I don't know jack about copyright music. Music copyright. Speaking of copyright though, God, Mickey Mouse is public domain. And I think that's hilarious. And I am so ready for the Mickey Mouse horror movies. This I'm ready for. Winnie the Pooh, no. You leave Winnie the Pooh alone. Mickey Mouse, yes. uh Again, I'm going to be keeping her dress mostly pretty plain because, you know, that's kind of just what she's trying to pass as. Um, you know, being plain and pretty unremarkable. Um, but I feel like this, like, skirt layer will give it some nice, like, extra flair. You know, not much, but, like, still something to, like, spice up the design a bit. I'm a sucker for hatching. I'm not good at it. I always get these extra little marks. I have to go back through and erase them. Can't tell if it's just the music that's making me so sleepy, or if it's that like, oh my god. Okay, so I love my cats. I love both of them. They're great. Um, but now that they are getting along more, they've started working together to wake me up in the morning to get them to feed them early. And right now, they're upset because they got fed early, and now they're hungry again. Um, See, they've already had breakfast and dinner. They at the very least Howl has been my cat for like the past 2.5 years. He should know full well that he only gets fed twice a day. But here he is, loafing halfway on top of his food dish. uh, Solomon, though, um, we haven't had him for very long, so he's pretty new to the indoor life. Because he technically wasn't a stray before I brought him home. But the people he was with didn't really take care of him. Um, and he is FIV positive. If you don't know what FIV is, it is feline immunovirus. The the feline immunovirus. It's like HIV but for cats. Um, both of my cats have it, and if your cats have FIV, they are not supposed to go outside because they are much more susceptible to any kind of illness, like anything um, that their immune system should be able to just, get rid of. It can't because they have FIV. His previous owners let him out way too much, and he got pretty sick, which is how the rescue center found him. And the rescue center was like, "Look, we'll give him back as long as you promise not to let him go back outside because he can't." And the previous owners were like, "No." So yeah, he's my cat now. Um, but he's not used to the feeding schedule just yet. So he keeps trying to break into, like, let's see. We found out that he knows how to get on top of the stove, which is great. He's tried breaking into the cabinet where we keep the food. That hasn't succeeded yet, which is good. He has successfully gotten into my roommate's trash can. He's torn open a few trash bags. And it's like, buddy, I get that you are used to, like, scavenging for food. What the frick am I? What is this shoe? This is why I can't talk and draw at the same time. I get things like this. um, I'm so bad at drawing shoes. What was I talking about? I was talking about my cat. But he's used to, like, scavenging around for stuff. I don't know how I got to talking about that. See, this isn't the right angle. This is gonna come back more on the okay. I didn't draw this right the first time, and now it's all messed up. Oh, I remember how I got here. Yeah, I don't know if it's the music or the fact that the cat started to wake me up really, really early in the morning. um, in order to get me to feed them that's making me so sleepy. It could be either. Maybe both. It is kind of nice just how relaxing it is, though. What is this shoe? What am I drawing right now? Hold on. Okay, okay. We have toes. Toes go like this. Okay, that's this little blocky feature here. Big toe goes there. And then we have the arc of the foot, which kind of comes in and then up again. And then we have the heel. It kind of comes up like this. Okay. So this was almost there. But not quite. It's gonna follow this curve here, go up. Then we have the little, what are these things called? Grommets? Is that it? I should know this. I really should know what all of these, like, fashion-related things are called. Okay. Then we're gonna have the heel kind of down here a bit. You know what? This is as good as it's gonna get for now. It's fine, don't worry about it. Oh. Whoopsies. Come on. I wonder if I... No, I'm just gonna put it back there. Okay. I'm just gonna draw the shadow over this. And we're just gonna... You know what, this is fine. We've been paying too much attention to these feet. Just don't look at them. It's okay. It's fine. I'm gonna get back to outlining. I don't know if we're gonna get around to drawing old lady Sophie. But maybe we'll draw like a little doodle of her. Just like off to the side. her with like her little stick. Gotta say though, the walking aid that they designed her for the movie, I think we should make all walking aids like that, because they look a lot better. You know, because like the walking aids you find in the store, they're just like black and metal, and it's so boring. Like, sure, they're cheap and functional, but like, you know, sometimes they do come in patterns. You know, sometimes they come in different fun colors, but the tips are like, you know, the handle parts are all like, you know, the silicone or like the rubber stuff. Um, and the tips of the cane are all like that grippy kind of rubber thing. And like I get that it's like it's functional, but like he looks so bad. I mean, you know, it's just like it doesn't look bad. It's fine, I guess. It's just kind of boring. Okay. All right, now that we've got her done, I accidentally added in all of the hatching before I see what smart artists do is they add in the hatching afterwards, um, so that you can like do this and then just like fill and then like color inside all of that, you know? But I'm an idiot. So I didn't do that. Gonna be adding an extra, like some more darker lines down here just to kind of show that extra shadow where the hands are. And then the reason that like, so the hatching here on the bottom of this sleeve and on the edge of this sleeve here, I'm not going to go all the way to the line because the really cool thing about light is that it reflects, you know? So the shadow typically doesn't go all the way to like the edge of surfaces, you know? There's going to be like that little like shiny, like that little area where the light bounces off of the like the object that it's closest to, if any of what I said made like any sense. You know, for something like a fold that isn't really going to apply as much, or like this kind of hatching here, you know, you're not going to really see that reflective area, but like, you know, for the edges, for like the bottoms of the sleeve here, yeah. I'm going to do the kind of like the same thing on this side. Especially to kind of help exaggerate some of these like ruffles and folds. I'll kind of do like, maybe not that one. I'll go ahead and add some of the hatching here on the bottom of the shoes. And then here too. Yeah, that's pretty okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and select this part. I'm not too worried about the inside parts as long as I can get, you know, the outside edge where I want it to be, because I can just fill in like the inside parts, you know. See, I pointed out the fact that all of this hatching makes this part really difficult, and then I went and did all of the hatching anyway. I couldn't tell you why. You know what? That's fine. We're not going to worry about it. Let's see. I think underneath I kind of do want to give her like a warmer color. So I think for the base we are going to kind of go with like a good kind of like orange. That's way too bright. Be like this one. Mostly just because it's kind of just like the color she's trying to hide a bit, you know? So I feel like she's a lot more warmer than she tries to let on. But, you know, it's not too hard to fill in. Especially once you have all of the outlines down already. Not the outlines, but, you know, like the outside bits. Because that's the tricky part. It's making sure you're following inside the lines. At least for me anyway, you know. For some people it might be a lot easier. Where's my mouse? There it is. Moving that guy back down. There we go. And then we can just select from layer, like that. And then I left the colors we picked out on one of these layers. They're around here somewhere. I think it is this one. Yeah, there we go. So we did kind of go for like that warmer gray for the dress. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in parts of this. Not worrying about the line work just yet. For the shoes, I'm just going to go with a darker gray. There's the hair. And then for the skin tone, we'll go pale, but not like too pale. Nah, she's gonna be on the more of like the pale side, especially with how much she just kind of spends like indoors, like hiding away. So here is probably good. I don't know if... Did they describe their eyes in the book yet? Sophie's? Oh. Let's see. Let's see, there's Mayday. It's gonna take too long for me to search for that. I'm just looking it up. Because I believe she had darker eyes in the book, but I could be wrong. Oh, okay. No, she has blue-green eyes. Okay. Blue-green, when it comes to eyes, typically just refers to this more of like a grayish color. You know, it's like the kind of eye color that like changes with the time of day. At least that's what I think of anyway. But I think it looks nicely against the hair color we picked out. Just gonna touch up some of the some of the colors real quick. Okay. And then when I go in to add blush to something, I'll take like the original color like this, I'll go down just a bit more towards the red, and then just kind of like saturate it quite a bit. And then I'll kind of add it in different spots. Like we have like the cheeks over here. I'm gonna kind of make it a bit softer. So we can add the blush at the nose, the lips a bit, corners of the eyes. See, I like to make the corners of the eyes really red just because I think that's pretty, you know? Oh, my model's doing that weird thing again when I look down. I think that's better. Okay. Then I'll come in and do kind of like the same thing on the blush for like the hands, and also, you know, like the wrist and elbows and knees and stuff. But for now, we'll just stick with fingers because the rest of that is kind of covered up. Okay, and then I just kind of adjust the opacity until I like how it looks. I think that's pretty good. I think here, I'm going to go with like a little bit of a lighter gray for these specific ruffles. And I'm going to add that a bit of decal onto like the buttons. And the sleeves. Whoopsies. That's not what I wanted. I don't know if I want to make the bottom of the skirt like a different color. Or if just, I think maybe these small little decals are enough. I might make her hair a bit more saturated. That way it kind of looks a bit more washed out. No. Like that, maybe? No, I can't. That looks weird. I can just leave it like that for now. And then for eyes, instead of making the pupils like that black, I'll just make it like a darker version. I'll kind of like shade in the irises like this. Then go down a bit darker. Then add in that bit of highlight there. I think this did make her eyes look a little bit too green though. So I'm gonna go back and make this much more blue. There we go. I am just gonna go in and add some highlights to the hair real quick. There we go, and I think that's our book, Sophie. And then it is currently... Oh shoot, it's almost 7. I think we'll have time for like just a quick older Sophie. Wait. Oh my god, it's such a mess. If I zoom back out, it won't be such a mess. I think that's just because I... Okay, I'll just fix that real quick. Hi, Howl. Oh, shoot. I totally messed up the hair, didn't I? That's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about it. It's Gucci. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay. Then we can draw a bit of an older woman, Sophie. It didn't say much about her physical description as an older woman in the book. So we'll just do like a bust, because she'll be wearing the same thing at first. But she'll be a bit, not grouchier, but less, I guess, caring of what other people think of her, you know? So her posture is going to be quite a bit different. You know, like hunched a little bit, but like in an old lady way, not in a like fearful kind of way. I think that as an older woman, maybe her eyebrows would get a bit bushier. I think she'd have like maybe some forehead wrinkles, but I don't think she'd have crow's feet, which is a little sad, but I don't think she really smiles enough to get like, you know, those guys, which is sad, but that looks bad. Okay. So we'll start off with our sketch. Her nose will be bigger than it is right now, I think. What kind of expression should we give her? I kind of want to give her a bit of a grumpy one. You know? She's a bit of a grumpy old woman, like she doesn't put up with anyone. Very strong-willed. Which, you know what, we support. On this channel, we support strong-willed old women. I'm gonna have to angle those eyebrows a bit more. There we go. And then same hairstyle, but this time like silver. Her face will be a bit saggier too. She definitely have those big old wrinkles under her eyes, I think. This poor woman doesn't sleep enough. I do think her eyes would get a bit droopier. You know, her ears are going to be quite a bit bigger too, I think. Hi, Howl. Come here. Hi, baby. Scritch, scritch. One day you guys will hear him squeak. Because neither of my cats meow very well, but they do squeak. And it's really funny. I don't think I drew that hair right. I'm sure that's probably fine. Yeah. Okay. You can kind of hear him jingle in the background sometimes. You know what? Maybe we'll give her a different hairstyle. I guess, nah, because she won't really have time to change her hair in the second chapter. I think she will later on. But I think for now we're going to keep it in this hairdo. You know what would be really exciting, or like really cool, I think? Is if I did just like a whole piece of her and like her outfits and her appearance throughout the story, and just the way that like not only her body language, um, but the way that her outfits and I think it's mostly just outfits really that changed, kind of reflect the kind of person that she is, or rather, the kind of person that she kind of like becomes. And that is one of the things that I really like about this book, is just how much like attention to detail it pays, especially to Sophie's like clothing. Same with Howl. Howl does also get like quite a bit of character development, um, which I appreciate. We stand character growth. think that's gonna have to be it for today, though. Let me just... Ugh. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Not bad for my first live drawing. A little nerve-wracking, especially at the start. Woof. Where's my mouse? There it is. But yeah. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all for showing up. I'm gonna be posting this to Twitter probably later. I might clean up some other stuff a little bit more. We might keep this little sea witching in the corner. Who knows? Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for coming. I appreciate having you guys here. I just bonked my microphone. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and send you guys on. Let's see. We can go ahead and raid. Oh, looks like Shore Bunny is streaming right now. They're playing Minecraft. So I'm gonna send you guys on over there. Thank you so much again for joining me. It was great having you all. Yeah. Bye.